When I first arrived on Ambergris Caye, I knew right away this wasn't going to be just another beach trip. This is Belize's largest island, and it's got the perfect mix of adventure and laid-back vibes. In this video, I'll take you around Ambergris Caye and the lovely seas that surround the island. I'll show you how to get there, we'll do some fishing, scuba, snorkeling, and visit some of the must-sees on the island. Getting to Ambergris Caye is part of the adventure. Most travelers fly into Belize City's international airport, then hop on a 15-minute puddle-jumper flight with Tropic Air or Maya Island Air straight into San Pedro, the island's only town. Although the Maya Island Air flight was in the smallest commercial airplane I'd ever traveled on, in fact, one of the passengers sat in the co-pilot seat, the short and smooth trip over the reefs of the Belize coast wasn't scary at all and was absolutely gorgeous. If you have quite a bit of heavy luggage, or flying on a small plane isn't your thing, then you can take a water taxi or ferry to the island instead. But to do this, you need to get into Belize City first. Then once you're there, it's about a 90-minute ride across the Caribbean. But if you're prone to seasickness or on a tight schedule, the flight is definitely worth the extra cost. Once you're on the island, there are a few taxis, but don't expect rental cars. Here, almost every vehicle is a raised suspension, large-wheeled, gasoline-powered golf cart. I reserved one online for the week through Isla Bonita, and they were reasonably priced at around $30 a day. They met me with the cart at the airport, and it made exploring the island super easy. Most of the roads are paved, but there's a lot of speed bumps, so don't drive too fast. Honestly, it's just fun to zip around the sandy streets with the ocean breeze in your face. Although there's accommodations on the island to meet almost any budget, we splurged a little and stayed at the Mahogany Bay Resort. It was a great experience. But the definite highlight was the amazingly beautiful private beach club that was accessible by boat, but only for resort guests. Ambergris Caye doesn't have any classic large sandy Caribbean beaches. And during our visit, it was sargassum season, which happens around April to October. So the beaches on the eastern side of the island were coated with thick mats of smelly seaweed. Although the western side of the island, like at the Secret Beach, this was much less of an issue. And one of the biggest draws of this place is just offshore and underwater. Ambergris sits right next to the Belize Barrier Reef, the second largest in the world. And during our week there, we did 6 dives with Belize pro divers, and frankly, it was amazing. On our dives, we saw nurse sharks, rays, eels, tons of reef fish, and some of the most varied and colorful coral I've ever swam over. The dive sites we went to were only 7 to 10 minutes away by boat, which made it really easy to get in the water. The underwater topography was also super interesting. Lots of walls, channels, and canyons. Every dive felt completely different. One site had massive coral heads covered in sponges, another had tunnels you could swim through, and almost every dive had nurse sharks and large groupers following us like curious puppies. I particularly enjoyed the dive sites of Tacklebox and Cypress Gardens. Here's a few scenes from our dives. The island is also the gateway to the famous Blue Hole, but unfortunately we didn't make it since it's a full-day adventure and the seas, many of our days we were there, were quite rough. But you don't even need to be a certified scuba diver to see amazing things under the water. We also booked a half-day snorkeling trip out to the Holchan Marine Reserve. It was unreal. Holchan is a narrow channel in the reef system that funnels a huge variety of sea life into a fairly compact area. Schools of fish everywhere, feeding sea turtles, gliding eagle rays, stingrays, and nurse sharks, all of whom could be easily seen while we were floating along on the surface. The second stop of the Holchan trip was at Shark Ray Alley. Now this is a spot where returning fishermen typically would dump their fish guts after cleaning their catch. So as a result, when even a non-fishing boat approaches the area, it's like ringing a dinner bell for the resident aquatic life. When you jump in, you're literally surrounded by nurse sharks and fish gliding past you. It's like you're a Nat Geo photographer, and it's surreally beautiful, but not at all dangerous. There's plenty of fishing around the island as well. We did a half-day reef fishing boat trip and caught a decent haul of tasty mackerel and snapper, as well as some odd and fierce fighters that were caught and released. After a few days of adventures at sea, we needed some downtime, so we drove out to the Secret Beach. It's about a 30-minute golf cart ride north from San Pedro. And while it's certainly not much of a secret anymore, it's absolutely worth the drive and was a lovely place to spend the afternoon, have some lunch, and a few drinks. The water was shallow and clear, and the numerous beach bars will set you up with chairs, music, cold drinks, and food, even right in the water. So let's talk about food on the island. There's tons of great places to eat, from small taco stands to proper sit-down restaurants. But one place you cannot miss is a visit to Elvi's Kitchen. This place is iconic, has a sand floor, and has been here for decades. They're known for fresh seafood and creative Caribbean flavors, but it still feels like home cooking. I ordered the fish curry, and it was some of the best I've ever had. As for sweets, don't miss a stop at the Belize Chocolate Company. In fact, we went there 3 times. So a few other practical notes on the island. Belize uses the Belize dollar, and it has a fixed exchange rate of 2 Belize dollars to 1 US dollar. Although both US and Belize currency is accepted, but change is typically given back in Belize dollars. Now, ATMs are widely available, but credit cards are also accepted by most larger businesses. English is the official language, and it's spoken by literally everyone. But you'll notice most islanders will speak a Creole dialect to one another. Tap water in Ambergris comes from a municipal desalination system, but travelers should stick to bottled or filtered water, which is widely available at hotels, restaurants, and shops. Hotels will often provide drinking water, and many have big purified water jugs in their lobby and in their guest rooms. So bring a reusable water bottle in your luggage. The price level is pretty affordable, but not dirt cheap. An easy way to save is to pick up a few provisions and beverages at one of the many local grocery stores, so you're not dining out 3 times a day. Ambergris Caye is one of those places that just pulls you in. Between the amazing diving, unique snorkeling, golf cart cruising, lazy days at the beaches, and great food, there is plenty to love here. Our week on the island flew by. We came for the scuba, but before we left, we were already planning on when we'd be back. Thanks for tuning in. A subscribe is sincerely appreciated and helps me to continue the channel.